if you've ever had a customer's dog who was yip, 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 and customers inside, and you look left and you look right, and yip, 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 and you just kind of throw a little bit of mist on him, or maybe a garden hose, you just kind of squirt a little bit of water over his direction just to kind of let him know who's the boss. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm not saying I've ever done that. I've just heard an urban legend that it has been done before. So today we're going to talk about the 4 areas that your employees need to have a give a crap switch flipped to the on position. Okay, these are your 4 main areas that when you start hiring people, a lot of you guys are owner operators. We have a lot of guys come and take our class who are just owner operators, but we do have a good many that come and they actually have folks working for them. And if they don't currently, they will eventually, probably sooner than they imagine, they will have people working for them. So if the goal of your business is to grow it and to have employees, then here's some areas where you've got to kind of hire selective people and look for these 4 qualities. Okay, so quality number 1, time management. Time management skills. If they do not have good time management, it is going to be a very hard relationship for you to keep your sanity and to not punch them in the face, because that is the one that's kind of a character flaw in them. Some of these other things we're going to get into, you can coach them, you can mentor them and get them better, and you make them work on this one too. But every time I've ever seen someone who had a time management problem, until they decide to really purpose in their own mind that they're gonna fix that problem, it's just gonna be constant excuses, constant showing up late to work, constant needing to leave early for bullcrap reasons, just a bunch of things. And it's gonna drive you as a business owner nuts because you've got things that need to get done. You did not hire them for them to show up to work ready to leave. You hired them for them to show up to work to be at work. So number 1 area, you kind of have this realm over here of time management. So that's a very important question to ask someone right out of the gate when you're interviewing them. What are your time management skills like? Do you have habits of being late? Do you have a problem showing up to work on time? Do you have reliable transportation? Because they'll take a job and then in 2 weeks you'll find out they don't even have a vehicle. They've been getting a buddy to bring them to work or whatever. That's not acceptable. They've got to have their own way to work or have a really, really solid plan to get to work every day. That is not your problem to figure out. So number 1, time management. Number 2, productivity. So you got that realm, you get the productivity realm. I just kind of think of this as 4 square little pockets here. Productivity is important. It is very important. You've got to have, as the business owner, as the guy that sets the tone, you have to have a standard for productivity. How much are we going to get done today, this week, this month? How much are we going to get done? And so one fault that I personally I've struggled with is setting clear expectations. A lot of times I'll just assume that people think like I do and we're all on the same page, but they don't. People don't, and you can't really fault them for that. They don't know. You have to set clear expectations as to what needs to be accomplished every day. It's hard to hold people accountable for things that you haven't told them they need to be doing. So make sure you set really clear expectations. Along with productivity, don't set too high of expectations. If you've got this unrealistic goal, then your people are going to get frustrated. They're going to give up. They're going to be like, well, there's no way I can do this anyway, so why bother? When I worked at the Wally World and the logistics side, we had productivity standards, and it seemed like every year they would raise that up just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And the people were out there busting it, and they'd figure out how to make it happen. They would move heaven and earth to make it happen. And I mean, they would go out of that place beat down, tired every day. I mean, just working like a mule. And so you know what Walmart would do? They would say, oh man, that is awesome. You guys, you hit your productivity. So check it out. Now, we're going to raise the bar just a little bit. We're going to add 5 more units per hour. Can you do 5 more units per hour? Well, yeah, you probably can, but if you keep doing that, eventually the morale level is going to go down, because they're going to realize that you're just in it to milk all the productivity you can out of that person. They're just person number 14, and they don't matter. You don't care if you work them to death or not. So have a reasonable productivity standard, and let them know. This road is really bumpy because the stupid state of Alabama rips up Highway 431 every year and repaves it. Won't be nothing wrong with this road. All my tax money goes to pave this particular road right here, and I hate it. So, universe number 3 that your employees need to have a give a crap button, and if they don't have one, you're going to have problems, is quality. So, you've got to do a quality job. Now, what does that mean in the wash world? Well, I think we all know, like, pretty much what that entails. It's fairly easy to tell if something is clean or not clean, right? It's pretty cut and dry. Maybe you're a lawn care guy and you've got a dude that you hire to run a trimmer. If he's missing places, if he's not going up to the edges, if he just kind of hit and miss on your lawns, well, that's going to reflect on your company. That's going to reflect on your image, and then you're going to start losing customers. If you delegate the job of calling back people to your guy, right? Let's say they're a crew leader, or they're a lead tech on a wash truck. Part of that responsibility might be to handle the phone calls and do scheduling, do quotes and stuff like that. If they're dropping the ball on that, that's a quality issue, not from necessarily the customer's perspective, but from my perspective, they're not doing a quality job. They're not doing a good job working in the shop for assembling things, and I've got guys that are, not putting things together the way they need to be done. It may look fine, but it may not be exactly the way I want it to do, and it may lead to a quality issue in the future. Inherent in the wash, especially the soft wash business, when you're dealing with bleach and corrosives and stuff, it doesn't really matter how you build stuff. You can build the Titanic. Bleach is going to cause problems with things, but you got to try to build it to a good standard. That way the stuff lasts as long as possible. So if you've got guys that are not following quality expectations, and you leave to go run errands and they're in there tinkering on something, but they're not, doing it right, then you're going to have problems. So whatever quality means to you, make sure your guys have a high level of quality concern. If they're not the type of guy that can sit back at the end of the day and look at what they've done and be proud of it, if they're just in and out and they're not, they're zoned out, they're not really caring what the outcome is of this project, then that's not the guy for you. You don't want that guy. So you've got time management, we've got productivity, we've got quality, and the fourth, which you may not think about, is safety. Safety is very important. If you have employees who cannot work safe, then they don't need to be working for you. If I've got somebody who refuses to work safely, they will not be employed by me very long at all. Having a brain fart, doing something stupid, that's one thing. Again, you've got to have clear-cut expectations as to what is the proper way to do something and what is not. I don't want my guys hanging off of a roof trying to clean gutters out. I don't want my guys, walking around roofs not harnessed off. I'd rather stay on the ladder. There's all these things that fall under the realm of how we're supposed to conduct ourselves on a job site. And if we're not doing that, they're putting themselves at risk, but they're also putting you and your business at risk, because you have spent all this time, all these years, growing this thing from an infantile little seed, and now it's a thing. And what's going to happen when they get hurt? This is what they're going to say. Oh, you didn't train me. Or you didn't provide the right tools or equipment. Or what I had was damaged and you wouldn't replace it. Or this or that or that. Example, if you've got a guy who's driving a company truck, do you have a cell phone policy in place that he has signed off on, saying, hey, you're not allowed to use your phone while you're operating a company vehicle or while you're on the job site? Think about those things. Look for areas where maybe you're just leaving it up to them to exercise their own common sense. You can't do that. You've got to have a written policy. Your policies are only as good as your training program, okay? So you got to have policies, and that takes a lot of work for you to sit down and think about all the things you do and have a policy that covers all that stuff. But then you have to implement it, and that's where a training program comes into place. You have to train these guys on what those policies are and how to do it effectively. And then you've got to, okay, so number one is no good without number two. Number two is no good without number three, which is documentation. You have got to document that you trained them, okay? Because if we're breathing in bleach fumes and we get bleach in our eye, and you don't have a eye wash station, you don't have a policy on what to do if you get bleach in your eye, for example, or a lawn care guy, you're supposed to wear safety glasses when you're running a trimmer, and the dude didn't, and he flung a rock up and hit himself in the eye. Okay, yes, that's his fault. Yes, it was an accident, but you should have a policy in place that says, hey man, you're supposed to be wearing safety glasses while you're doing this job. And so if you don't have that policy, you didn't train him on that policy, and you didn't document that you did the first two, then none of that matters. Like, you have to document it. And it's a really good idea to have a monthly training topic where you bring just random things throughout the year, and you recover them. So you do all this stuff when you hire a guy, and then you recover a topic every month just to keep things fresh on their mind. So when you hire somebody, you're looking for good time management skills. You're looking for someone who's productivity driven, that they understand they've got goals and they have to be met. You've got quality. They have to give a flip about what they're doing. If they don't care, look at themselves, right? If the dude's car is a mess, he's got Coke bottles and trash and junk all in his car, and he's disheveled, that's a good indicator. If he doesn't care about his own stuff, he's probably not going to care about your stuff. And then they have to work safe. If they're not working safe, it's a ticking time bomb. We'll let you guys go, and I hope you have a productive, safe, high quality, effective Tuesday. So we'll check in with you later. See ya.